Hi guys, it's Nancy here and I'm back with another process video. Unfortunately, I didn't record the very start of this. I'm just taking some of my die cuts here and a selection of my mists. I'm using the tea, the chartreuse and the sea foam. So I want to apologise that it kind of just jumped right in there because, yes, I lost the first little bit of video. Not quite sure what happened there. So these are for a layout that I shared over on the Hey Little Magpie blog on the 3rd of March. I will put the link down below where you'll be able to see more detailed photos of it. And I am using the Jen Hadfield Simple Life collection. And so I'm working on some layouts for my Scottish album. So it is a 9x12 page. I chose this lovely floral for the background. It's got a lovely teal in. And then I have got another piece there, and it's actually garden themed, that background piece, so it's not really relevant to this album, but I thought actually just as a dark edging it works fine. So I'm just going to stick down, double mount it up, and then just again add some more of this lovely tea mist on, which is a favourite at the moment. So yeah, I really love this background, so I'm going to try and keep the layout pretty simple, but you know, I never can keep things too simple. I mean, I just love the busy background paper, so I really wanted that to show the best. So I'm just applying lots of mists over here, just creating a little bit of texture. As I said, I've used craft cardstock for my silhouette die cuts, and I've just put mist over those. And I actually sprayed mist through the mister, not what I'm doing here, which is dropping it. I actually used the mist, the actual nozzle bit, so that was a little bit different, but I wanted to give them a kind of cool kind of look. I also just pulled out these Amy Tangerine stamps, which I know I want to use. So I'm just getting those out because I know I want to use them for part of my title. And I picked these up a couple of months ago. So I'm just stamping up here, just sort of seeing how the letters look. And because my ink pad is running out, they kind of look quite faded. So I decide I'm just going to go for quite a faded, kind of random sort of arty look. Do really need to buy another ink pad, so that's on the list. But I'm just stamping them out here. I'm just stamping out the Highland, because I'm going to use that as part of my title. And again, also it's going to help me just gauge the size as well for when I'm trying to work out where I'm putting it. I'm not worried about these looking straight or anything like that. I just kind of, because that adventure is kind of, you know, script looking, I kind of thought that's just going to work quite well. And I was seeing if the Highland would fit in with the ascending letters and all that, but in the end I thought, Nancy, you're just worrying about that too much. You don't normally care about things like that. Just stick it down and get on with it. So I'm going to be using two photos on this layout. So one is me outside the lock, which was outside the hotel, and the bottom is the actual hotel. So the hotel that you can see there in the bottom photo, that was the view that looked out over the lock. And I believe this is Loch Tummel. So I just wanted to sort of show the two sides of sort of where I am. So what I could see from where I was standing, which was the hotel, and then also behind me was a massive lock. So, and then I'm just taking a little bit more of that darker cardstock pattern paper. I've mounted that bottom photo in it, and I've just put a little bit along there on the bottom. I am trying to work out what I'm going to do with that sort of floral die cut. Do I want it overlapping? Do I not? I'm taking some bits from the die cut pack there. Again, really like the die cut pack. It has some really good sort of words and phrases in. It's got a really nice sort of more of a nautical style, but I kind of quite like that. I just added in a little bit to that cluster. But I really want that sort of die cut to speak the most, and I'm going to overlap that over the photo actually, because there's not much in that photo, you know, there's like a bit of sort of dead space there, so that's just going to help bring everything together. Again, this is a super simple layout because I don't want to overcomplicate these pages. I do struggle with this 9x12 size, because it is, as I say, a smaller canvas, but I'm kind of liking how it looks, but I don't want to overcomplicate it. I just really want to get the pictures down in a decorative manner, which at the end of the day is what scrapbooking is really about, isn't it? So I'm going to play down here. I want to put a tiny bit of journaling, and I'm looking through the bits that came in the collection, and I'm just thinking, no, this is not looking right, and it said to and from, and I was like, then I'm going to have to cover that up, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I was struggling. So what I end up doing is actually pulling out some older bits from my stash. I tend to, if I'm doing a blog post, for the Highland post, I like to use newer stuff, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't work. So I was just going to pull out something else from my stash, and I actually end up using some old LA Studio bits and pieces. This is like kind of a mixture of little bits. So I think that little camera is actually from Gossamer Blue. Does Gossamer Blue still exist? Do they? I don't know. I'm just talking to myself there. You feel free to reply below if you know. But yeah, that was from Gossamer Blue. And I actually used another little tag from Gossamer Blue, which is sweater weather. So anyway, I'm going to use that speech bubble down there at the bottom. It's just got a little teal speech bubbles on, so it works perfectly with that background paper. And it's actually sort of an off cream. So again, it's not going to look too different. I'm going to put a little, it's kind of like an olivey green camera down there at the bottom, which corresponds with the olivey greens in the photos of the grass, and also that sweater weather piece as well. You can use another little bit of that dark cardstock just to fill in the centre of that camera piece. I've also pulled off a couple of the puffy stickers from the sticker sheet, both floral pieces, and I'm going to just add those to the clusters as well. So I'm kind of feeling happier where everything's looking now, so I'm now going to start sticking it down. You know, this is a process that I do more than often. Kind of lay everything out and then pick it up and stick it all down, and more often than not move everything and it doesn't look like what it did. So I'm just going to stick that flower down. I said I really like it. It doesn't show in the video, but it has a real sparkle and sort of dimension to it from where I use the mist. So I really like that look. I actually really liked using craft cardstock as my sort of die cut base. I don't have much craft cardstock, so I think I'm going to have to get a couple of bits of craft cardstock and do some more sort of batch cutting like I did for this. If you watched my previous video, you'll have seen I literally took a 12 by 12 sheet and just filled it with all stuff, and I ended up using more or less all of it in these layouts actually, so that's quite good. I'm not, because my die cut silhouette is not set up all the time, it doesn't sit on a desk or anything because of, you know, my living situation and stuff like that. I tend to move around with it a lot. I don't, you know, it's not something I can easily just plug my laptop in and go, so that does mean I tend to batch cut more. So I'm just sticking everything down there. I'm kind of happy with how those clusters are. I'm going to put that adventure over the top of the photo, so both photos have a die cut overlapping them, so even though the photos are not connected as such, they are still going to look alright. I'm now going to do my stamping. As I said, my stamping is not perfect because my ink pad is running out, and I'm just going to do it down. It's not perfectly straight because the adventure is not an even sort of, you know, upper and lowercase because of like how it's script form. I don't mind that it's a little bit wonky. You know, you can read what it says. So I'm just going to put the Highland Adventure, and then I'm going to add some mist over the top. I really needed to remember to stamp using the side of my ink pad because it was more juicy. I'm then going to put the date. I decide quite like the date down here. And again, it's just going to bring some more of that stamping in. I really like this stamp set, so I'm going to have to use it more. It was one of those things like I really wanted, never brought, and then went to TK Maxx and found it cheap, so it made it even better. So what I'm going to do now is just splatter some mist on in a dark grey just to bring it all together and call this layout done, really. And that mist is just going to tie everything in, the inkiness, the messiness, so it doesn't show brilliantly on here. I will put some photos here at the end so you can see them. Do go over and check out the blog post. Thank you very much for your lovely comments for my last video, and I look forward to seeing you all again very soon.